There are no happy endings. Endings are the saddest part. So just give me a happy middle and a very happy start. Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Saturday the 14th of December 2024. Today was match day. Today was also the day of Neil Harris's last game as manager. We assume. Obviously, he hasn't died yet. There may still be time. And we lost 1-0. But before we get into that, because that doesn't seem to be that significant in the grand scheme of things, we lose games all the time. Oh, and I think we'll be losing a lot more of them going forward into the future. So this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, the South London Press. This second spell has been special. Millwall manager Neil Harris bows out after defeat at Middlesbrough. Neil Harris was disappointed to end his Millwall reign with a defeat, but was keen to reflect on how far the football club has come over the last 10 months. The outgoing manager has reflected on his long-standing association with the club, with immense pride and emotion marking the end of a 26-year story. The Lions lost 1-0 at Middlesbrough this afternoon. I was desperate to get a positive result today, just as I was on Wednesday night, against Sheffield United, Harris told Millwall TV. The fact that we've lost back-to-back games doesn't define what we've achieved as a group or as a football club over the past 10 months. As much as I'm a winner and I hate losing, I'll always be keen about the same thing as at this football club, penalty areas, whether it's under me, Joe, Gary or Kenny before, the outcome of games often hinges on those key areas, and that's football. And I'm not dwelling on today's result, I'm more focused on reflecting on the 10 months as a whole. This second spell as manager has been special. I couldn't be proud of the players. They've given everything day in and day out, and they're a phenomenal group of lads, and today was no different. Reflecting on the game itself, Harris said, in the end, we were chasing the game, and they got a few one-on-ones, and that's football. But the game was won and lost in the first half now during a 10-minute spell. We could have been 2-0 up in the opening seconds, but we missed two one-on-ones. They went up the other end, took their chance and scored, and it comes back to the penalty areas. That's what it always is. Our shape and desire, build-up play, it was all exceptional again. But that's football, whether it's the Championship, Premier League or League 2. It's always about how both penalty areas, and that's how the area the club continues to work on. Harris said an emotional goodbye to the travelling fans that made the long trip north. And I believe it was was it 351 fans? So not a lot. It's a shame we were 600 miles away, but it was nice to show my appreciation to the supporters on behalf of myself and my family. My relationship with this football club has been incredible, and I've cherished most moments of it. And the club has been brilliant to me, through tough times as a player and twice as a manager. And I'm confident I will leave the club in safe hands under James Berylson. Harris shared his final message to his players. I told them, it's time for the club to reset. The board will find the right man for the job. And when they do, everyone needs to get behind him. This football club is at its best when it's a united force, a juggernaut. And that's what needs to happen next. The Lions legend confirmed that the decision to step down was his, as he felt it was the right time for both parties to separate. My decision to leave was made with the club's best interests at heart. Every decision I've made, whether as a player or manager, has always been, for the good of Millwall, and I'll be back as a fan, a supporter and a friend to Jimmy. I'm content with this mutual party. It's the right time for everyone. I can't thank the club and everyone here enough. So much like Gary Rowett, it's a mutual parting. He wasn't sacked. It was a mutual parting. Moving on to this from Southern News, which is of a similar vein, but I believe slightly different. There may be some quotes that are the same. So this is from southernnews.co.uk. I don't need that. Neil Harris reacts after Millwall beaten by Middlesbrough in his last game in charge. Neil Harris said it was very emotional in the dressing room after his last game in charge before stepping down as Millwall manager. Harris couldn't sign off with a positive result as Emmanuel Laf scored the only goal to give Middlesbrough a 1-0 win at the Riverside Stadium on Saturday afternoon. The away fans sang Harris's name throughout the game, and he went over to acknowledge them after the final whistle. In the post-match press conference, Harris was asked, just describe your emotions at the end, and the Mill fans have obviously forgiven you over that little tiff last week. And Harris replied, it's not the first tiff I've had with Mill fans over the years, as a player and a coach. People called it a tiff, and there was maybe things in the press, but it's not really. There's certainly no anger or impact felt longer term on that, for me or the supporters. Well, there was a story a while ago, many years ago, in Harris's first spell, where one of the fans saw him after the game in the car park at the Den, said something to him, and Neil Harris snapped back and said, if you don't like it, why don't you fuck off the Palace? And that guy immediately went online and told everyone what happened, expecting to, be, oh, poor you, I can't believe he said that. And instead, everyone was just taking the piss out of the guy. And, that was brought up over and over again over the many years about that guy. Whenever he complained about something, someone said, well, why don't you fuck off the Palace? So, there have been moments like that. Oh, it was a beautiful moment for us. It was a shame it was 300 miles away. Well, it was 300 miles. It was 600 miles a minute ago. What's happening? Maybe he said 300 miles and then someone's corrected him and said, actually, it's 600. And then next time he changed to 600. And there weren't a few more here, but I don't need that. I don't need that, because it's been a privilege to lead this football club for so long. It's a brilliant football club. It's a unique football club, and I'll be back as a supporter in the future, seeing everybody. It was very emotional in the changing room for me afterwards. A lot of the players that have been with me for a long time, and my staff as well. All I can do is wish the club well, make sure that the fans who have supported me relentlessly over the years support the new regime that come in. Mill had some glorious chances early on, but Macaulay Langstaff and Femi Aziz both fired wasteful efforts into the legs of Middlesbrough goalkeeper Sol Bryn. Harris ended his second spell in charge of 3 successive defeats, and Harris said, Borough aren't bad, are they? Especially at the top end of the pitch. A little bit frustrating, It's Groundhog Day for us this week, and where we've been falling short over the last 10 months when games have been close is a bit of end product. In 10 months in charge, we've not lost a game by more than 1 goal, and it shows how close our games are, and how important that first goal is. I thought we should have been in front in the first 15 seconds, and then we had 2 really good one-on-one opportunities as well. Then at the other end, Borough had a really good chance to score. And that's the difference. So I understand that's football between the teams that are going to be on the top 4 or 5 teams that aren't going to quite get there this season. So there you go. Spirited effort that only sees us lose 1-0, and we actually have now the match report from millfc.co.uk, playing in the silver kit today, the black and blue trim. Millwall were beaten 1-0 by Middlesbrough in the Sky Bet Championship on Saturday afternoon. Emmanuel Latalaf's early goal was the difference in the game, which displayed a lack of cutting edge from the Lions as he spurned some fantastic opportunities on T's side. Neil Harris made 3 changes for his final game in charge of the Lions as Ryan Leonard returned from suspension. George Honeyman and Macaulay Langstaff came into the 11 at the expense of Joe Bryan, Duncan Watmore and Mihailo Ivanovic, who were all dropped to the substitute bench. The Lions won the ball straight from the kick-off at the Riverside Stadium, but Femi Aziz's run down the left-hand side came to nothing as the attack fizzled out for a goal kick. Mill then had a throw launched in by Leonard from the right-hand side, but neither Langstaff's overhead kick nor Aziz's follow-up could be forced in, with the following corner kick headed over by Japhet Tanganga. There were 7 minutes played when the Lions broke through the Borough backline once again, but Langstaff's shot was saved by Sol Bryn. But with the host's first effort of the game on 9 minutes, they were to take the lead as Latalaf sent for a shot through the legs of Lucas Jensen. Talking about that a bit. Honeyman coming back into the team today, and a lot of people looking at the goal pointing at Murray Wallace and going, you see, Murray Wallace. Look, Murray Wallace. He's as shit as I think he is, and I'm going to tell everyone. Well, I think when you look at that goal, when you consider that one of the reasons that Honeyman is being played in the number 10 role is for his pressing high up in the pitch, he just casually jogs over to the player on the halfway line, the Middlesbrough player, who puts the ball forward. He creates a shot creating action. So why are you in the team, George Honeyman? That's like, you can't even chase the guy down properly. You give him so much time and space on the ball that he picks a player out who then puts it through for the other player to run onto and score. So if you're not even going to do the basic defending, which is the reason why you're playing in the number 10 role, it's time for a new number 10. Now that Billy Mitchell's back, how about we have Billy Mitchell in the midfield and then Casper Denora at number 10? I don't know if that's going to work. I'm not sure what's going to work. Maybe the new manager can figure something out. Goal scorer Latalaf then brushed a header wide at the back post as Burroughs' tails were up following the opener. However, the next golden chance fell to the lines at the midway point as Romain Esse's lofted pass put Aziz in the clear. He could not beat Bryn, though, as the goalkeeper stopped his strike. As Mill continued to attack, Middlesbrough were aiming to hit the lines on the break with 34 minutes on the clock. Latalaf's driving run took him to the edge of the box before feeding Finn Azaz, but Jensen was untroubled by his feeble effort. Hayden Hackney then drew a save from Jensen, while Esse's shot was straight into the arms of Bryn at the other end. Both sides got into promising areas, but failed to make their attacking nature pay at the beginning of the second half. Adomio Mako and former Middlesbrough man Watmore were brought into the play just before the hour mark as Aziz and Honeyman made way. And the Irishman created a chance for the Lions on the edge of the box a few minutes later as he was brought down by substitute Anthony Dickstill. Mako failing to hit the target from the free kick. Yeah, they let him take a free kick, which is interesting. That is interesting. Azaz struck wide from the distance in a rare Middlesbrough attack, whilst a triple change with 12 minutes to go saw Ivanovic, Tom Bradshaw and Billy Mitchell replace S.A. Langstaff and Casper Denor. Murray Wallace's header from Leonard's deep free kick nestled into the arms of Bryn as the final 10 minutes loomed, with Amaku cross evading everybody until it hit the fire Wallace at the back post and the ball going wide. Tommy Conway and Delana Bergzog wasted late attempts on goal for the hosts, and with Mitchell's effort being blocked and Tanganga's cross being safely clutched by Bryn, referee Jeff Eltringham blew time on Harris's time in charge of the Lions. And there you go, there's 387 away fans, and they're still counting the home fans. So 387 away fans made the trip there. Okay, so I have to press the button to get the Millwall team. That's a bit of a piss take. The team was as follows: Jensen, Leonard, Tanganga, Wallace, McNamara, Denor, Saville, Esse, Honeyman, Aziz and Langstaff. The subs were Mitchell on for Denor on 77 minutes, Ivanovic on for Esse on 77 minutes, Watmore on for Honeyman on the 58 minutes, Imaku on for Aziz on the 58 minute, and Bradshaw on for Langstaff in the 77th minute, which means the unused subs were Liam Roberts, Ryan Wintle, Joe Bryan, and Wes Harding. So there you go. Now, moving on, still on the official website, photos from the Riverside Stadium. So here we go. A selection of the action from the Riverside Stadium can be seen in the match gallery below. Yes. Now moving on to the lowdown piece from londonnewsonline.co.uk. I do like this piece. I very much do like this piece. The lowdown on Middlesbrough 1, Millwall 0. So instead of doing a match report, which everybody does, but if you've already seen the game, why do you need to be told what you've just seen? That make no sense. So they do a kind of hybrid match report kind of roundup, which is interesting. I like it. It's a good idea. Whoever's idea that was, that's a good idea. Well done, you. They've been doing it for a while. It's not new, but here is the lowdown on the match. Snapshot of the game. The Lions started brightly. Macaulay Langstaff was played through by Femi Aziz, but the strike was denied by the leg of Solomon Bryn. Oh, his name's Sol. I thought it was like Sol Campbell, not Solomon. Oh, is Sol short for Solomon? I thought it was like Sol was in the sun. Oh, okay. Is Sol Campbell's name Solomon then? Solomon. They were made to pay for that in the 10th minute. A simple 1-2 undid the Lions' defence, and Emmanuel Latalaf tucked home in a decisive goal. It was by no means a classic. Borough carved out a few chances after they took the lead, and Fizz Zaz, the Championship Player of the Month for November, fired an effort wide after being neatly played through by Neto Borges. Bryn denied Aziz in the 27th minute, and that was as close as Mill came to a first half equaliser. The second half was a scrappy affair, with neither side managing to gain enough momentum to create any significant chances. The tactical approach. Harris made 3 changes as a side that lost 1-0 to Sheffield United on Wednesday evening. Ryan Leonard, George Honeyman and Langstaff were all recalled as Joe Bryan, Duncan Watmore and Mihailo Ivanovic made way. The Lions made it tough for the home team, as you would expect from a Harris side. They did not give much away, and it was really down to Middlesbrough to open up their visitors, something they did not have much success in doing. Something the Lions have been good at under Harris is making sure they stay in games. Only Watford and Bristol City have scored more than 1 goal against Millwall this season. Well, so far. Let's put that in brackets, so far. And they were the first 2 opponents of the campaign, when we didn't have Tanganga because he was suspended. Remember that. Star man, Japhet Tanganga, has been outstanding for Millwall since the day he arrived. He provides a lot of leadership in the back four and offers what calm, reassure factor to the rest of his teammates in that back four. That was a game where he didn't have an awful lot to do, but what he did have to do, he did it well. The only disappointment from him will be the fact that he picked up a booking in the second half. Oh, not again. Is he going to get suspended again? A great combination between SA and Langstaff set up the latter for a huge opportunity in the opening exchanges, but unfortunately for him and the team, he could not convert the chance. Had that gone in, it would have been a very different game. Moan of the match, Mill's end product. It's been a source of frustration all season. That final ball, or lack of killer instinct, has been what has cost the Lions. Not being ruthless enough in both boxes, that is where games are won and lost. While Harris has introduced a strong back line and cut out the mistakes at the back, that end product is still leaving a lot to be desired. The starting lineup at the Riverside did not have anyone who scored more than 1 goal apart from Romain Esse. Holy shit. As stated above, the South Londoners were not short on chances. Langstaff and Aziz both had big opportunities either side of Borough's opening goal. A big task ahead for whoever takes over the reins. Talking point down the pub. Who will replace Harris? We know it will be someone that agrees to the vision that owners James Berylson has set out, but who will it be? There is not an obvious candidate to pick from. Mark Robins is out of work and has a great track record, especially from his time at Coventry. However, his time in management has been mainly north of London. It's hard to know what direction the board will go in. Whatever they decide, they know they must get it right. Joe Edwards' experiment was a brave one, and perhaps had it been done at a different time may have worked, but at a crucial time in the season, this next call must be right. Well, what are we, 10 days away from Christmas? If I was a manager who was out of work, I will not come back to work until after Christmas. Because, you know, the missus will give you a bloody pelters, wouldn't you? If you're out of work and you're not actively looking for work, if you're not like, oh, well, I really need to get a job, I've got no money, Sally, I've got no money. So if, you know, you're just sitting around at home, or playing golf, taking a dog for a walk, and you're not actively trying to get a job, the missus probably all making all kinds of plans for Christmas. And if you say to her, hey, listen, love, I've got a job now. I'm going to be away at Norwich on Boxing Day, so and I'm going to be training the Millwall players Christmas morning down at Calman Road. So you tell your mother-in-law to go and suck some eggs. I don't think that's going to go down too well. So obviously, if it's a manager who already got a job, then that's not a factor. But like I said, now this is a thing as well. If it is going to be Mark Robins, and he does come in after Christmas, what's the game that we've got straight after Christmas? Not the Boxing Day game. That counts as Christmas to me. What's the one after that? Coventry away. Can you imagine Mark Robins comes in as manager? He gets announced probably on Boxing Day, and then he comes in for that game, or he gets announced before Christmas, probably on the 23rd, but they say he won't manage the team for the Boxing Day game. He'll start on the Coventry game, and he'll start training from Friday the 27th. And then he goes up there and we absolutely spanked them. And especially with old Frank Lampard. Oh, we spoiled Frank Lampard's day. Oh, that would be amazing. But, that's a short-term thing. But, the stories that come out of these kind of things, that's how they kind of, they write themselves. You often find that, in FA Cup draws, you'll get a team. You'll play against a team that you're playing within 2 weeks of the FA Cup draw in the league. These kind of things happen, ex-players, ex-managers, you'll get drawn against them. There's all kind of stories that happen bizarrely, it could have been anything, but it's that. But we wait to see. And another thing, as I said in yesterday's video, Neil Harris wins games of football for Millwall. He won a lot of games of football, more games of football in this second spell than he did in his first spell, which suggests either he's getting better or we've got better players, which I think we got better players because, we did, the squad that got built was built in League One and then went up. And then, we've had to maintain that and we've had to improve the quality. But he started out with a League One team, League One squad, and we just about got promoted by just about getting into the playoffs and then just about, getting promoted. But like I said in yesterday's video, if you're not selecting the manager based on the criteria on the competency to win games of football, but instead to develop young players, you will lose, you will not win as many games of football. If that's not the main focus, now how many games of football will we not win? Is it going to be enough to get us relegated? Then what's the point in that? That's not good at all. What the boss had to say. Oh, in the end, we were chasing the game and they got a few one-on-ones. That's football. But the game was won and lost in the first half, during a 10-minute spell. Oh, it could have been 2-0 up in the opening seconds, but we missed 2 one-on-ones. They went up the other end, took their chance and scored. And, it comes back to the penalty areas. That's what it always is, our shape, desire and build-up play. It was all exceptional again. Just that final end product. The final end product. Quality strikers are few and far between, especially in these days, I guess, when you're only playing one up front. It's an industry-wide problem. If you're only playing one striker up front, how do the strikers develop themselves if they don't get the game time? Exactly. So what that does, if we scroll down to here, Friday the 13th, so these are the rest of the championships results from this weekend's matches. Derby beat Portsmouth 4-0, so it ends Portsmouth's little mini revival. Bristol City 1, QPR 1, so they're still unbeaten. They're still doing well, QPR. Coventry 2, Hull 1, Preston 1, Leeds 1. Sheffield United 2, Plymouth 0. Middlesbrough 1, Millwall 0, obviously as we know. Oxford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 3. Swansea 2, Sunderland 3. Stoke 2, Cardiff 2. And Blackburn 2, Luton 2. So our next opponents at home on the 21st of December, next Saturday, they beat Luton 2-0. And they are now seemingly the best team in the league at the moment. We'll get into that in the table in a minute. Tomorrow we got Watford versus West Brom and Norwich versus Burnley. Now Blackburn, they have won 6 games in a row, probably maybe more than that, I don't know. I'm just conceded the last 6 games. 6 wins in a row. It's good bad in a way, but also good in terms of the longer you go on a run, the run needs to end. How many games can they keep winning? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, The run needs to end at some time. Maybe it will end next week under Adam Barrett as manager. But we wait to see. Interim manager. So where we are. We are now 13th. Obviously, that was another game that we didn't score, and that is 3 defeats in a row, and 3 games in a row that we haven't scored a goal. Not good. We've only scored 20 goals, which going down looks to be the worst in the league, apart from there's a few teams with 19 goals scored. So the goal scoring is relegation quality, because the only teams worse than us are in 21st, in 23rd, and in 24th. So it seems to be that without Jake Cooper at set pieces, even though he's not scoring them, I imagine he causes chaos that allows us to score in other areas, maybe on secondary balls. Without that, we are kind of struggling, and we are massively relying on Japhet Tanganga and I guess Jensen as well to keep clean sheets for us. We've only conceded 18 goals, which is only bettered by 6 teams, and 5 of those 6 teams are in the top 5. So we have a top of the table defence and a bottom of the table attack. Okay, that's not good. It could be worse though. It could be worse. We could have a bottom of the table defence and a bottom of the table attack, and we would be like Hull, rock bottom, or Plymouth, who've conceded 42 goals, which is more than twice what we've conceded. So it could be worse. Now, we were 13th. We haven't moved. We were 13th, before today's game. But there was a 3-point gap between 13th and 14th. That has now disappeared. And in fact, there is now 4-point gap between us and 9th place. So we have obviously 6 games without a win in a league where if you win a game you climb up the table. We've started to drop down the table, which because of the point gaps, hasn't been so dramatic. But if we lose our next game, it could be, because we could drop probably down to 17th. Obviously, we have a +2 goal difference, but if we lose maybe 3-0, 4-0, or if we lose 2-0 and then Preston or Stoke win 2-0, well, not really. So we could drop down to 15th, but it could be very worse, because 3 points is separating 13th and 19th. So 3 points between us and Luton in 19th place with 22 points. Like I said, they have a really bad goal difference of -14, so that protects us from dropping down that far. It's basically an extra point, so it's basically a 4-point gap that they have to overcome because of their really bad goal difference. But yeah, this is not looking good. If you can't win games of football, and if you can't score goals to win games of football, where are we going? It's alright developing the players, we can develop the young players all we want, and we'll have probably one of the youngest and best squads in League One, because anyone who's out of contract will have to be let go, and probably staff as well, so that's not going to be good. And it was mentioned the other day by Gallen and others that they're not even discussing contracts with players whose contracts are up at the end of the season, because they don't know what kind of league they're going to be in. Which, when you think about it, is a damning indictment that they don't have enough confidence in the squad that they built. So Steve Gallen builds a squad, and he's not even confident enough that it will keep us in this league to start beginning negotiation. Not even like, let's get the contract sorted and signed and sealed and delivered. Just discuss the possibility of a contract to say, well, okay, if we stay up, this is your contract. This is the contract offer that we will give you. But we will only action it and allow you to sign off on it if you agree to it, once we've guaranteed safety in this division. Do you agree? They're not even doing that. They're not even speaking to the players whose contracts are up at the end of the summer. But you've just built the squad. So you don't think it's good enough to stay up? Or what? Like, very, 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 very weird things I think are about to happen between now and the end of the season, which is not good, not good. I was considering, maybe 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, after these great results that we had against Leeds and against Burnley, of buying a half-season ticket. And after what's gone on, that's certainly not going to be happening now. No way, Jose. Now, moving on to this. We're going to finish with this. It's another loan. I mentioned the other day, the under-21 teams have a massive month off now. Well, 3 weeks off. They're off for 3 weeks. They have a winter break. But the under-18s keep going. Don't know what that's about. But I mentioned like some of them may go out on loan. And indeed, I believe the goalkeeper who played the last game, last under-21 game against Ipswich that we won, has gone out on loan again. So he's joined Chesham United FC. Dylan Adai joins on loan. We can confirm the signing of keeper Dylan Adai from Millwall Football Club on a short-term loan. Dylan goes straight into the squad for today's game against Boreham Wood and will wear the number 31 shirt. Formerly of Leicester City, Dylan had loan spells at Ramsgate this season and Hayes and Yedding last season. Many thanks to Millwall for their quick assistance in getting this deal done. So yeah, as you can see, they were away to Boreham Wood and he started and they lost 3-0. Boreham Wood, a very good team. They are a very good team. They have Abdul Malik, who come off the bench in the second half. And there you go. Vanarama National League South, which is, I'm not sure how many levels up. It might be 2 levels up, because I did mention in the previous videos, and it says here that he was on loan at Ramsgate, which I think is Isthmian South East Division. And if it is, then that's 2 levels below the level that Chesham United at. So he certainly felt that today, it seemed, having lost 3-0, though Boreham Wood, I think they're like 4th or 5th in the table. So they are a very good team. They are a very good team. So if he gets another game, we'll see who they play in the next. Oh, it says there actually, Tunbridge Angels. Not sure about them. I don't think they're as good as Boreham Wood. But we'll see. We'll see how he does if he plays in that again. And that is on Tuesday. So Tuesday the 17th. So there you go. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.